So if you guys haven't been following along, the AMU engine that comes out of the Audi, the 225, is narrow band and it sucks. It sucks keeping the fueling right, the air right and everything, so I wanted to switch it to wideband. So the wiring is all wideband. The MAF should be wideband. The O2 sensor should be wideband. So I'm trying to get it to wideband, which I looked up the injectors. These are the injectors that come on the 225. So it's just regular 225 injectors. And then maybe the tune. Maybe they didn't put that I have these 225 injectors. But I told them what I had, but I did have some problems with emailing these guys back and forth and everything. It just, that's another reason why I just kind of was over this car. I'm still kind of over this car. Because this is ridiculous, I feel like, so. New spark plug, old spark plug. So I know that I've done this before where I put new spark plugs in and it runs so good for about, like 5 minutes and then it just floods them and then it starts running like crap, so. Gonna put these in. Okay, so change of plans. I just cleaned these old spark plugs, which I don't know if that's gonna work, but I used brake clean and a wire wheel. Got them pretty clean, but I think it's just gonna foul them again. I don't wanna foul those new ones. Got the battery in, it's got fuel. We're gonna open up the garage, so I'm just gonna leave right here. I got the fire extinguisher behind the camera, just in case like the fuel pressure regulator's got a leak or something, I have no idea. All the lines are put back on, check the oil. What the heck? Yeah, hook the fuel pump up, I just hear a massive, massive leak. Yeah, there's fuel everywhere back here. Actually came through the firewall a little bit right here. So I need to find, so fuel everywhere right here. And remember, like this, this is a project from someone else. So these fuel lines here have been rubbing on the firewall there. So I need to check there. Looks like there might be some fuel coming from before the filter. So I'm gonna check all those now. Okay, so fuel line is fixed. Pull spark plug in to see if it's actually getting fuel. The other thing is, it's been like 2 years, so I don't know if the wires are all good still. So at a time, a last ditch effort, I put the new spark plugs in, because every time I've put the new spark plugs in, it usually fires up. Last ditch effort here. Next day, been out here a while. Finally went back to the basics and I have a relay that's popping, I think. Listen to this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to do that. I think either I'm having a grounding problem or that relay is bad. I'm not sure. Or it's the wrong one. Who knows? Let's see. Still goes. Okay, so pretty sure I have a grounding issue because this car was sitting so long. Like, I think I might have done something so someone could just turn the ignition and start it and go, maybe. So, dude, it's been 2 years plus, so I gotta check all my grounds. I think that's why this relay is tripping. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. It's been a while. So I've been looking around under the car because the battery's in the back, so I'm looking at all the cables and stuff. I come to the front here. I don't know if this is the problem, but that is a ground. That is a ground wire. It's brown and it's unplugged. So I don't know if I did that a long time ago, or, you know, this has been sitting for 2 years outside. So I don't know if like a animal got in here or something and pulled it down. I don't know. I need to check all these wires. So I found 2 wires. One has been chopped. I don't know if it ever did go to any, but it is going right to front ground here. Another one is this. I can't figure out, you know, where it should go. And this is the only other wire. I mean, this is brown. I usually kept, there's one wire back there that goes brown to red for some idiotic reason. I hate that. I can't believe I did that. But this is a brown wire that's not plugged in anything. And then this goes right to ground. So I don't know why I would clip this if I did sideways though. Looks like it's like sunken in. I don't know, very weird. I don't know. I'm gonna splice it, put it together, and man, if this is a problem, that's gonna be crazy. So I just hooked this up. I didn't have the camera on, but I heard something. I think I heard the relay click. This is gonna be wild if it starts now. Well, at least I tried to start. I think it might be flooded because I was trying a whole bunch of different things. Getting closer. Okay, it's been a couple days. There's been a lot going on. Trying different things, looking up on the internet, a whole bunch of stuff. So here's where we are now. So just got back from pick and pull, and the number one thing that's happening, well obviously it's not starting now, but when it was running, it was just flooding the spark plugs. So I've checked so much stuff, and I just sent off the 225 injectors, and the guy said they're fine. They weren't leaking, they weren't stuck open or anything. So the spark plugs were not getting fouled by the injectors. So what I have now, I just went to pick and pull. I got stock injectors because now I'm thinking, I sent this ECU off and to get tuned, and I had so much trouble with them back and forth. I had to send it there twice. I'm thinking they put a tune in for stock injectors with a KO4 for 180. So that's where we're at now. And if this doesn't do it, then it has to be something with, I'm using a AWP ECU with a different engine harness. I think it's from an AWD, but the only thing different is there's no VVT. Like obviously on a AWP ECU, AWP right there, the only thing different is there's a VVT plug-in right here, and it doesn't matter if you have that plugged in or not. But the one thing it could be is the wires could be just switched, which doesn't make any sense because when I'm looking at the plugins, they're exactly the same except for on the AWP one, there's one extra right here for the VVT because I've checked that one. That's the AWP right there. So I don't know. I'm going to try this. Hopefully it's gonna start. And hopefully it's not gonna foul the spark plugs. But these, I need to take these spark plugs out and make sure they're good to go. Then I'm gonna try to start it again. I can't believe it started up that easy. I'm just gonna let it run. I'm gonna see if it fouls these plugs. I can't believe it's going. What in the world? I can't believe it started. So I let it run for about 10-15 minutes. I'm hooked up my little scanner. I'm gonna see if any codes pop up. It was smoking a little bit. Started running really good after about 10 minutes. Throttle response was really good. I'm gonna pull the spark plugs to see if they're fouled or see if they look lean. Just my generic scanner. Camshaft, that's nothing. That's nothing either. So those two don't matter. So that's awesome. So now I'm going to pull the spark plugs and see what they look like. I cannot believe it started like right up. That was insane. Look at that. They're not fouled. They're pretty dark, but I think that's normal. Usually if it was running for 10-15 minutes, dude, these would be pure black and just full of fuel. Man, this is so crazy that I tried this. I went to pick and pull like an hour ago, and I just pulled some stock injectors from a regular AWP and just thought I might as well try it. I've tried so many different things. The next thing I was gonna try was what I said, just replace the whole harness. So that doesn't look bad at all. That's the best one I've ever seen out of this car. Wow. Like this car, I've been working, like, I mean, it's always been in the back of my mind because I've always wanted to drive this car. Like this is the first time, you know, I've been working on it for like 2 years, but dude, off camera, I worked on this car and dude, I couldn't figure it out. I could not. I tried so many different things. I'm so glad that I tried that. Oh my gosh. The best spark plugs I've ever got out of this car. Look at that. Usually just pure black and just full of fuel. Like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to look up what lean, because maybe I'm wrong, maybe they did tune it for the injectors, but I don't understand. Everything's the same. The only thing I've changed is the injectors to a stock 180T AWP injectors. So yeah, they might not have put I had the 225 injectors. Crazy. All right, so what am I doing? I cannot believe this. I'm so happy. It got up to temperature, and then the thermostat opened up, everything was getting warm. The fans didn't come on. I can't remember. I think I fixed the fans. I think they were coming on when they needed to be. I can't remember. So now, I think that's all the time I have for now. But I've already ordered a pressure gauge for the fuel, a new fuel filter, which I don't know if I need now. What I do need is an air fuel gauge so I can see if it's running lean or not, but I think I can do that through Vacom. So I'm gonna grab that, I'm gonna start it up again and watch the air fuel ratio. I think I can see it through that. Pumped. Interesting. I need to look up what group I need to be on again, I guess. Interesting. So these are the groups that should be showing what the air fuel is. Nothing is happening. So it's showing that the oxygen, the O2 sensor, is not getting any information. So remember, this is an AWP ECU with a AWD engine harness. I have the right O2 sensor in for AWP 180 right now, not getting any data from it. So I think I got it figured out. It's not reading the O2 sensor, so this harness that I got from a Mark IV obviously is not letting the signal from the O2 sensor go to the ECU. So I ripped out this part of the Mark IV harness. I'm going to keep the same engine harness because everything seems to be working. I'm not getting any codes for any of these sensors. The only thing, it wasn't reading the O2 sensor. And that harness goes to the O2 sensor, which goes to the ECU. So I ripped that out, which sucks. Now everything's a mess. It was kind of a mess anyway. So tomorrow I'm going to go to Pick and Pull and hopefully get a harness from an AWP car. I know they have one there. I can't remember if it was like in the water or not. But yeah, shouldn't be too hard. Hopefully I found a nice harness. It doesn't really matter. I guess I take everything off anyways and rewrap it myself anyways. So but yeah, that's where we are. I can't believe it started. I cannot believe it started the other day. And I don't know why it took me 2 years to hook up my VCDS and see if what sensors were working, what sensors weren't working. But the O2 sensor, it never came up. There wasn't a code for it. So that's why I never really thought anything of it. But yeah, it wasn't even sending any signal. So that's why the injectors were just dumping so much fuel, because there was no O2 sensor to tell the ECU that, dude, it's rich, lay off the gas. So that's where we are, going to Pick and Pull tomorrow. All right, so a couple days gone by, went to Pick and Pull. I got an AWP harness. I was getting a little nervous, but I did find like one wire that was different going into one of the plugins. So I'm hoping that that's gonna be it, which is crazy. So the engine harness is still from, I think, a narrowband car. I'm not sure. The only difference is there's no VVT. So the new harness is in. It just flopped in there. Everything's connected, I think. Everything's grounded. Everything is plugged in. I'm hopefully it just starts right up. I have my VADCOM all set up and ready. So, hopefully it starts. Let it run a while, and then I'm going to see if the O2 sensor is working. And I still have the stock injectors in, because the last time it started, the stock injectors were in. I haven't changed anything except for the harness. And hopefully it should start right up. And now it's right, harness, wideband, O2 sensor. It should read the O2 sensor working, the fuel trims, or the fueling, the O2 sensor should be kind of moving up and down, getting it right with these stock injectors. Hopefully if everything runs well, because this engine is from a 225 Audi with a KO4, has the 225 injectors. The tune that I got is for the 225 injectors. So then hopefully I can put the injectors back in, and these I got flow tested, I got cleaned, because I thought this was the problem. But it's fine, they weren't leaking or anything, so it wasn't the injectors. Hopefully this works. Hopefully it'll start right up. This is it. So I got the 225 injectors that I had flow tested and serviced. They are in there. This is it. This is where it was just running fine with the stock 180 injectors in there. O2 sensor was reading. So now I put these injectors in. The O2 sensor the ECU should read the O2 sensor, and it should make adjustments to the fuel so it's not just dumping a whole bunch of gas in the spark plugs. If it doesn't do that, if for some reason it's pumping way too much fuel in there, then I know the company that had to tune this, they didn't put that I had 225 injectors, which would be ridiculous, because I told them is the engine's out of a Audi TT 225. So hopefully this just works. It doesn't flood. It's gonna start, it's gonna run, but after 5-10 minutes, what it would do is just flood the spark plugs. So they'll be all black and just full of gas when I take them out. So should start right up, and then I'm gonna let it run 5-10 minutes, and hopefully all is good. So everything is the same. Everything's plugged in, spark plugs plugged in, O2 sensor, nothing's changed except for I just changed the fuel injectors. I turned the batteries off so the computer, is reset, so it has to, pick up the new injectors. Okay, so we're running. Looks like it's working. The O2 sensor. The ECU is reading the O2 sensor, making adjustments. But you're supposed to give the ECU time to like recognize, read everything. But I mean, the O2 is reading. Like that's what this is right here. So when I had the other injectors in, when I did that, there was like no response. That's so much more responsive. So it feels like these injectors should be in there. That's so much faster. Oh my gosh. If this is working correctly, it's not fouling the plugs. Oh, I'm gonna be so happy. But it feels like it's idling different. I think that gapped these plugs. These are the new ones. I can't remember if I did or not, but oh my gosh. So I'm just gonna let it idle for at least 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna check the spark plugs. Seems to be running awesome. No leaks. Got my exhaust. Yeah, some of it's coming in, but like most of it's going out now, so I don't get all sick. The O2 sensor is reading, keeping it where it should be, and I don't think it was doing that before, because it'd be showing if it was really rich, just dumping a whole bunch of fuel, I think. But I'm gonna let it run another 5 minutes and then pull spark plugs and see how they look. Here we go. If this fixes the issue, I'm gonna be so happy. Like, then I can, plan for the future of this car and what I want to do with it. Because if I couldn't get it running right, my motivation was not there for this thing. Oh. Damn it. Dude, you gotta be kidding me. Look at that damn spark plug. Pure black, caked. Dude, the spark plugs were coming out fine with the stock injectors. The only thing I changed, I put the 225 injectors back in. Dude, that looks like crap. It's just overfueling. So on further inspection, these are not soaked with fuel. Usually when I pulled them out, they smelled like gas, and you could see they're all like wet. These are not wet. They don't smell like gas at all. These are running, they're I have this little chart I put up here of spark plugs, which I need to look around a little bit more to make sure it's the right one, but it's saying it could be a too cold of plug. Or I need a gap. I need to check my gap. These do look like a big gap. Yeah, I'll check these gaps. But yeah, they're not fouled. But this is the recommended plug for tuned 1.8T, and I looked up if it was different for the 225. But I'm gonna look up some more to see if these injectors make a difference, because most of the stuff is just for a regular tuned 1.8T. But yeah, So with that chart, it's saying, I think it's too cold a plug, but I don't think this gap is right. I need to find my gap for the spark plugs, my measuring. Yeah, that looks big. I'm gonna pull all the spark plugs and look. So what I changed, it's the O2 sensor now is working. The ECU is reading the O2 sensor. It's all wideband. Now I just need to figure out why it's running cold, or maybe that's oil. I need to look at that chart a little bit more. It wipes right off. Not a spark plug expert, that's for sure. So it's been a couple days, and where I'm at, I have the spark plugs cleaned and gapped correctly. Since they didn't get flooded with fuel from last time, I'm going off that maybe I need to run it more so the ECU can, you know, figure out what fuel trims it needs. That's what I'm going at. If I'm gonna put the spark plugs in, put the coils in, straighten up some of these wires, run it, get it up to temperature, and then I'm gonna drive it for the first time in like 2.5 years. And then we're gonna see if the spark plugs foul, if they come back all fuel, it has to be that Unitronic put the tune without the 225 injectors. I've changed everything else. The O2 sensor is working. The injectors are just pumping too much fuel in there if the tune's not right. The other thing is, I've looked up a lot of the Audi TT 225 information. I've looked up a lot on the forums and stuff, and a lot of people are saying that they go through spark plugs a lot faster than normal, I feel like, and some of them are black and everything. I'm not sure. So the spark plugs back in, get the wires all straightened up, and then just drive it and see what happens. But yeah, let's get this buttoned up and go for a drive. All right, it's go time. It's really cold out, so I need to drive it back and forth to get it up to temperature. Okay, so I got fire extinguisher. I don't have any tools. Let's see how this goes. All right, so it's almost up to temperature. I want to see if the fans kick on before I go really down the road, because if the fans don't kick on, I'm not going to be going very far. It already sounds like it's kind of idling different now. I have new coil packs coming, but I bet the spark plugs are all black right now. It's cold outside, but man, that is a lot of exhaust. I might have to run it up and down one more time to get the temperature up, see if the fans are gonna kick on. So I just ran it just down my road really quick again to get the temperature up, and it's still not coming up. Oh, it's nerve-wracking, because once I like kind of leave this area, I don't want it to start overheating. Dude, that is so much smoke coming out. Like, I checked compression before, but that's before I did a couple pulls. Maybe I have a blown head gasket, but that wouldn't make all the cylinders exactly the same black. But man, that is a lot of... Sheesh. That is a lot of exhaust coming out. I think I'm just gonna run it down the road, see what it does. But when I'm going, there's no smoke coming out. So it's only when it's idling, there's that much smoke. Woo, it's drafty in here. Let's do an all-wheel drive pull. suspension on this car, so it's pretty stiff already. But obviously the R32 is used to the heavy VR6 in front, so that's why it's not down a little bit more in front. Man, the brakes work pretty good. You just gotta push them a lot because there's no brake booster. But if you put a lot of force, they stop pretty fast. Shit! This thing is so awesome! Oh my gosh. This car is so light. So the guy I bought it from, it was 2,100 pounds with him in it, and he was probably at least 50 more pounds than me, maybe more. So I'm like probably around 2,050 pounds in this thing, which is crazy. It's so crazy light. Let's do a pull here, first gear. All-wheel drive still on. Let's do it at first. Wow, that is amazing. I mean, to me right now, it feels like it's fixed, but I'm gonna pull the spark plugs and see how the spark plugs look, and that's gonna tell me how it's running. Whoo-wee! Well, thermostat was definitely open. I don't think the fans kicked on, but it never overheated because I think it's so cold outside. I have new coils coming, some red tops. Let's shut that garage. Hopefully, it's cold outside. Hopefully they'll warm it up a little bit. So it was only smoking at idle. It didn't smoke at all when I was going down the road. Oh my gosh. No way. That looks good. I hope you guys can see this. Look at that spark plug. I need to look at my little spark plug reader. It looks like it's a little rich still, but that might be because it was just idling for so long. It looks like I might have fixed the problem with putting the new harness, wideband O2 sensor, ECU tuning, I think is good to go. Thank you, Unitronic. I'm gonna check the rest of the plugs and see how they look. So this is the second spark plug that I pulled, and look at that. Look at that spark plug. That's the best I've ever seen it. And it was only smoking a lot when I was idling. Once I was getting on it and driving it, there was no smoking at all. I'm so happy. Like, it's been 2 weeks of hard work, and I think it's running properly. This is so awesome. I'm so happy right now. Like, so I know every 1.8T engine is the same. Like, this doesn't have VVT on it. I don't have it hooked up. It doesn't matter. So I knew it was just getting the correct parts, making all wideband, which is totally my mistake with the engine harness that I used. I didn't think it mattered from an AWD car, but it does. And those harnesses look exactly the same except for one wire I found that is different, and that is super pumped, super happy. Yeah, I am probably gonna go for another drive. This was years in the making, but really pushed hard for 2 weeks. So if you guys could hit the like button, I'll make some more videos of this thing. I can't wait to drive this thing. I do need to put some blinkers on it. I don't really care about headlights. I don't care what it looks like right now. I just want to be able to drive it mostly in the summertime, make some videos, make some content, and thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, I hopefully we'll have another video of this thing just driving down some roads. Super, super pumped.